Adaeze, sweep that corridor again. I can still see dust. Yes, ma. And when you finish, go and wash the cars, both of them. My husband's guests are arriving this evening, and I will not have this compound looking like a bush settlement. Yes, ma. Don't just stand there nodding. Move. She moved. She always moved. Quietly, quickly, without complaint. She picked up the broom and walked back to the corridor she had already swept twice that morning. The harmattan wind had blown fine red dust across the tiles again. She swept it away without a word. Her name was Adaeze. In the language of her people, that name meant daughter of a king. But in this house, in this large compound, with its freshly painted walls and imported floor tiles, she was simply the maid. She had been working here for 3 years. 3 years of waking before sunrise. 3 years of scrubbing, sweeping, cooking, fetching, and being spoken to like someone who did not matter. 3 years of sleeping in the small room behind the kitchen where the ceiling leaked when it rained and the window had no curtain. But here is the thing that nobody in that house knew. Nobody except one person. An old woman who lived far away and prayed every single night that the truth would find its way home before it was too late. The thing nobody knew was this: the land this house stood on. The large compound with its painted walls and its imported tiles. The mango trees at the back and the borehole at the side, and the entire plot stretching from the main road to the stream behind. All of it, every single inch of it, belonged to Adaeze. Now let me ask you something before we go further into this story. If you discovered that you were working as a servant in a house that was legally and rightfully yours, what would you do? Would you speak immediately? Would you fight? Or would you wait quietly like Adaeze and trust that the truth would eventually speak for itself? Tell me in the comments, because the answer Adaeze chose will either inspire you or surprise you, maybe both. This is her story. To understand how Adaeze ended up sweeping floors in her own inheritance, you must first understand her family. Her father's name was Chief Obiora Eze. In the town of Emeka, that name once carried weight. Chief Obiora was not the wealthiest man in the region, but he was one of the most respected. He owned a large plot of land at the edge of town, land that his own father had cleared with bare hands decades earlier. Over the years, the town had grown around that land. Roads were built, businesses opened nearby. The land that was once at the edge of everything quietly became the center of something valuable. Chief Obiora had 2 children, a son named Emeka, who was 12 years older than his sister, and a daughter named Adaeze. From the time Adaeze was a small girl, her father called her his treasure, not because she was the youngest, not simply because she was a girl, but because even as a child, Adaeze had something in her eyes, a steadiness, a quiet kind of wisdom that made grown people pause when she spoke. Her mother died when Adaeze was 7. After that, it was just the 3 of them, father, son, and daughter. Chief Obiora raised them both the best he could. He sent Emeka to school. He sent Adaeze to school. He worked his land. He grew crops. He rented out a small corner of the plot to a provisions store owner for extra income. He was not a perfect man, but he was an honest one. When Adaeze was 19, her father fell ill. It began with his knees, then his back, then something the hospital in the city called kidney failure. The treatments were expensive. Chief Obiora sold some farm equipment. He borrowed from friends. He asked Emeka, who was now working in the city, to help with the bills. Emeka sent money a few times. Then the money stopped coming. When Adaeze visited her brother in the city to ask for help, she found him living in a rented flat with a woman she had never met before, and a new motorcycle parked outside. He told her their father was exaggerating his illness. He told her he had his own problems. He told her the land would take care of itself and she should stop worrying. Adaeze returned home alone. 6 months later, Chief Obiora called her to his bedside. His voice was weak, but his eyes were clear. "My daughter," he said, "I want to tell you something before God takes me." She held his hand. She did not cry. She had always been the kind of person who saved her crying for later, for when no one was watching. "This land belongs to you," he said. "I have written it down properly. A lawyer in Onitsha holds the document. His name is Barrister Nwosu. When I am gone, go to him. He will give you what is yours." She nodded. She memorized the name. Barrister Nwosu, Onitsha. Her father died 3 weeks later. She was 19 years old and she was alone. What happened after Chief Obiora's death moved quickly, the way injustice often does when it has been planned in advance. Emeka arrived in Ameke 2 days after the burial. He came with a woman from the city whose name was Gloria and 2 men Adaeze had never seen before. They drove in a large car and parked directly in the middle of the compound as if they already owned it. Emeka called a small family meeting. A few uncles attended. Adaeze sat in the corner and listened. As the firstborn son and only male child of Chief Obiora Eze, Emeka announced, "I am the rightful heir to this compound and everything on this land." Adaeze looked at her uncles. Some nodded slowly. One looked away. She spoke carefully. "Papa left a will. I know where it is." Emeka looked at her with eyes she did not recognize. What will? Papa was a sick old man. He did not have the strength to be writing wills. Whatever document you are talking about is probably nothing. "Barrister Nwosu," she said, "in Onitsha, Papa told me himself, Emeka's expression changed for just a moment. Then he smiled. "You are grieving," he said gently. "You are confused. Rest. We will handle everything." She did not rest. 2 days later, she traveled to Onitsha alone. She found the address her father had described, a small office on a quiet street with a wooden sign outside. But when she arrived and asked for Barrister Nwosu, the young man at the desk looked uncomfortable. "Barrister Nwosu is no longer with this office," he said. "Since when?" "Last month." "Where did he go?" The young man shifted in his chair. "We are not sure, madam. He left unexpectedly." Adaeze stood there for a long moment. Then she asked the question that had been forming in her chest since she walked through the door. Were there any documents left behind? Any files belonging to Chief Obiora Eze of Amaike? The young man looked at her carefully. He lowered his voice. "There were some files," he said. "But someone came to collect them already. About 2 weeks ago." "Who came?" He hesitated. "A man. He said he was the son of the deceased." Adaeze walked out of that office slowly. The afternoon sun was harsh on her face. She stood on the pavement and understood something that took her breath away. Her brother had moved before she could. When she returned to Amaike, she found that Emeka had already visited the local land registry office with a document she had never seen before, a document that described him as the sole heir of Chief Obiora Eze, a document that transferred ownership of the compound to his name. She went to the registry office herself. She explained everything. The officer listened patiently. Then he told her that without a counter document or a lawyer to challenge the filing, there was nothing he could do. She was 19. She had no money. She had no lawyer. She had no copy of her father's original will. She had nothing but the truth. And in that season of her life, the truth was not enough. Emeka moved into the compound with Gloria. Within weeks, they had begun renovating the house, painting the walls, changing the floors. Adaeze's old room was turned into a storage space for Gloria's boutique goods. She was given a choice, leave or stay and work. She stayed, not out of weakness, but because something inside her refused to abandon the land her grandfather had cleared and her father had loved. She told herself she would stay until she found a way. She told herself the truth did not expire. She picked up her broom and became the maid.